Very good afternoon to brothers and sisters of the Theosophical Society. My title for the talk, or the short talk, is The Values of the Theosophical Teachings and Philosophy. So, I became a member in the year 2001. I haven't left nor missed any of my sessions in the lodge in Petaling Jaya, because if I don't come, I don't see anybody there. So, so to tell you the truth, I'm not sure what happened yesterday. Anyway, the values of the Theosophical Society. For me, the biggest value is to have a platform which TS has provided. Now, this platform is so unique. It's different from other religious platforms, nor NGOs platforms, because there's no barriers. There's no religion, involved. No caste, irrespective of men or women. So I value this platform, and we can do so much with this platform using Brother Vic Hao Chin's analogy, which I have valued it a lot, is he gave a short story of what it is like if a group of us climb a mountain, and when we reach the top, it's already nightfall, it's total darkness. And he was saying, can you imagine what it's like? We don't know whether we can put our foot forward. Which direction are we going? Because you can't see anything. So he said, suddenly someone turned on a torch. And before we know it, second torch came on, and third and fourth. So the whole place was lighted, and we had the confidence to look and see where we are heading. So with this analogy, Brother Vic, we should preserve and put into action that if each individual person in TS would be a torch and keep the teachings and the philosophy of TS and spread it, not among members only, but to the world. Wow, I had so much big ideas from yesterday and today from the prolific speakers. Some are very humorous, some are serious, but the ideas are there. To tell you the truth, I have to take baby steps because I can't even organize my Selangor Lodge community members and get us working, with voluntary spirit. That is very challenging. Mm-hmm. And I chose TS. I was searching in the late 1980s. I attended church services. I attended Billy Graham crusades in Sydney. Somehow it didn't gel. So when I went back to Malaysia again, I was searching very hard. Where shall I go? I ended up in the Buddhist Vihara Hall to listen to Dharma talks. But one day I was asked to visit TS Sydney Lodge. And that was the impression I got, is my goodness, they're such a loving group of people. Their outlook is so beautiful. And I told my cousin sister who introduced me there, I don't think so we have one in Malaysia. I don't think so, because with that idea of a Muslim country, I don't think so they allow us to have this. But one day when I flipped through the newspaper, I said, my goodness, there's a talk in the Theosophical Society Selangor Lodge. So I went, and I haven't stopped going. It was only a house of Sister Padma, one of the founders, and we realized that we couldn't use it as freely as we want, because we were encroaching her privacy, and sometimes there are discussions that goes on longer than the specific time. We moved on to another office, and that one is a lawyer's office. So at that time, if you know Malaysia, we have a group of Indians, Hindus who started the Bursay group. The Bursay group means they are fighting for democracy, justice, and to cut off corruption. So mostly are lawyers involved in this setup, and I think you know of Sister Ambiga, she is the head in charge. So Siva is a lawyer, so it looks like we are gathering every Saturday there for some kind of a political talk. So he got so worried. He said, no, I can't have it anymore in my office. So I had to look for another place. So we moved on to Brother Kupusami's place, which is now the current lodge. And Kupu was using it off and on, not all the time. So I said, Kupu, if you ever want to sell, please put me as the number one buyer. So finally we got it, we bought it. And I just love the unit number. It's unit 707. It's on and it's on the 7th floor. So you will have a chance to visit it when you come in the next IPF conference. Okay. Thank you. I cannot beat the prolific speakers before me, giving me huge plans, body, mind, and spirit. And even Tim Boyd, that we are the agent of change. That one I'm going to adopt. We are the agent of change, so I'm going to use that to move on. But I'm going to tell you from my angle, my personal angle, how it had helped me and what are the values I received in my life. So I started off by having more tolerance and compassion. And that came from this invocation prayer. Because when I first read it, I can't imagine that someone is respecting life in atoms. Wow. So when I could adopt or accept that, can you imagine the mind shift and the approach that I have when I talk to a human being? So I started off from my home. I changed in being more tolerant as an employer. And I relate better because my tone of voice, I hope, is more compassionate, rather than I have a father that has got very bad temper. So when he teaches his children, one of them, me, he raises his voice. So half the time we are so fearful of him, and I don't know what he's talking, but he's shouting. So again, I got this from Brother Vic, who is one of my living mentor. He told me how to tackle rage, because my father usually have a bad rage. So I am one who is very affected by it, but in another way, he has defined me as what I am today. He gave me such a tough upbringing that if you throw me in the deep blue sea, I have to survive. There's no way he will accept. No, that's him. He has passed away last year. So other than defining me as what I am, I have living mentors like Brother Vic, who came, I think in year 2004 and did a self-transformation program for us. And my goodness, that was powerful, Brother Vic. I've seen friends of mine crying, and I was wondering, what has happened to them? We were pairing off, and he was conducting how to overcome fear. And I learned so much from that. And one very interesting example was I was partnering a young lady, and her fear is compliments and praises. So I had to call Brother Vic. I don't know what questions to ask her, because why would someone fear compliments and praises? So she told me her parents are very demanding. So if she gets a B grade in her exam, the parents will give her a strong lecture. Or then she has to aim for an A. So if she get A grade, that's still not sufficient. She has to get 100%, I suppose. So it is so much pressure on her that she's so fearful of somebody praising her, because expectation is supposed to go beyond that. So that was unusual for me. So that's also another benefit I got through the platform of TS that made me see things differently. And another very important value I received personally is to be discerning, to be able to differentiate good from bad, the truth from the untruth. And I got this from At the Feet of the Master by J. Krishnamurti. That has helped me now, not only in my social life, but in my business life. So when anybody says something, I would take a step back, and I make my decision by contemplating before I jump into it. Okay, the next one to me is courage. So I find our founder and Madame Blavatsky, when I look at her, I was just telling John, she looks so fierce, you know. But when I read about her biodata, and then I think, my goodness, how could a woman in the 1870s and 1880s left Russia from a noble family, and how on earth did she get to Tibet and then finally to India? How do you travel? I took a 10 hours ride by a comfortable flight, and I said, oh, that's tiring. But I can't imagine, how did she travel? Did she go on camel? Did she go on horses? How did she go? And bear in mind, she's only a woman, and she could do all that. So to me, what courage she has, so much of courage. So as a woman, I said, look, if she can do so much, what is a challenge in front of me? Nothing. I can take it. No, nothing is impossible. So the other one is, of course, Annie Besant, whom I love dearly. Not only her beauty physically, I like her powerful writings. Annie Besant has given such powerful writings, and that include the invocation prayer, and also the leaflet that you all have inserted in our, our package or in our folder. Yeah, this one. So Annie Besant has given me a lot of determination, because one woman, my goodness, she is a reformist, an educationist, a writer, and she even, helped in the political system in India. So, and these are big areas. If you take individually, they are huge areas that she has contributed. So, determination is one thing I have learned from Annie Besant. Okay, and of course, lots of knowledge, lots of tools or upaya I have adopted, mostly by sharing. And sharing to me is most powerful in a gathering like this, or in my weekly session. It's the discussion bit, it's the question and answer bit that I learned so much, because then I realized, the different aspect coming from individual, and that really helps. So I can only do this with like-minded people in the Theosophical Society, because if I were in another gathering of very fixed-minded people, I cannot bring up certain topics. I'm more sensitive, so I watch my words. But with a platform like this, I can just speak on anything. So that is very powerful. And another thing which I adopted and I shared and practiced was, before my dad passed away last year, I learned something about life after death. And we are so blessed to have Sister Michelle Booklin in my TS. She was talking about how to prepare yourself when you're dying, or how do you part with a dying person, what can you give to that dying person before he breathes his last breath. So, and that came from Sister Michelle. She said, tell them not to be afraid when they're about to die, is they will see bright lights. Tell them to follow that bright light, and don't be afraid. So that was what I whispered to my own dad's ears, because I don't know what to say. So I said, oh, that's powerful. So I told him, just go and follow this bright light, not to worry. So that's another powerful thing I gathered from the TS platform. Yeah. But to me, if you ask me what is TS, I would still say that it is a powerful platform that you gather a lot of tools to help you in this living physical life. Because it's only through a good, wholesome life, then you are prepared to a spiritual life. So for me, the wholesomeness that I gathered and that confidence that I got from TS members, TS knowledge, and TS interaction has helped me in my daily life. So I not only practice it in my house, I brought it to my office and to my commercial world, because then when I face any rival who are very loud in their voice, shouting at me when I'm doing a negotiation, I just keep quiet and I practice what Brother Vic said. Just don't enter that mode. Just keep quiet. So I just keep quiet. And that has helped me to, put a break. Some people say just count 10, 1 to 10, before you say anything. But for me, it's the awareness that, look, this guy is really in a bad mood, in a rage mood. Please don't enter that mode. So I take a step back. So that helps me not in my family life, but in my commercial life. For me now is to do, because in this convention I've heard the whys coming from Brother John, and I heard the how, but how are we going to start practicing it in a community, and then before that on to the world? But I'm starting from my own lodge among the members first before I can move on. So in my conclusion, I would like to summarize that we are also well equipped with the knowledge. We are so well equipped with so many tips and guidance that we have received. Can we just put that into practice? I'm going to start as baby steps from within my family, from within my society, and then hopefully the big ideas which Brother Vic has outlined and Brother Pedro, how are we going to put that into a bigger perspective to reach a wider group of people? And I usually will spend a lot of my personal time when someone asks me what is TS. That's my best time to share with them. But I'm not going to be like my sister, who is a very staunch Christian. Before anybody could even ask her, she's already trying to convert you. So I just don't like that system. I just don't like it. And actually, I told her that's the best way to put me off. I wouldn't even want to go near someone who is just, before they could even ask your name, they only asked me, what church do I go to? So before I could, and when I reply, I don't go to church, you should see their reaction. They can't believe that. How come you don't go to church? So, well, TS is so different. That's why I can gel with TS, because none of the members here would want to, impose on you. It's when you ask, that's when we have the opportunity to share with you. And I think that comes from the heart, because they really want to know what TS is all about. And that's when I'm so happy to share with them. Okay. Thank you.